Welcome back. If you remember the last Total War battle, these mortars here were proven to be very effective in combat. And we're about to prove it yet again. In today's battle, we are fighting against a rather light infantry force. They're using white tigers, rifle mercenaries, and revolutionaries as their main source of infantry. Of course, instead of mortars, they have 6-pound light guns. And they have some on that side, some on this side. That'll be important later. I have Shogunate infantry, which I use poorly in this video. I also, for my main infantry force, we have the very one and only Kobutsugu Musketmen. I really like this infantry unit. It's by far one of my favorites. We also have Levy infantry to act as an emergency force, or just as more soldiers. Anyways, I'm gonna speed up until the first engagement arrives. If you like this video, if you like these fully narrated Total War videos, leave a like and subscribe. And comment if there are any ideas I should do. Because I am open for suggestions. So, I decided to move my forces down here to act as a flank, since I saw that they have forces down here. They have Nagitana Levy, Nagitana Kachi, and, missing stuff, and revolutionaries down here. This is where I fumble the bag. I maneuver my troops way too much, and they resupply or reinforce their forces way too much down here. So, my men end up getting cut down in the line of fire. This little arena becomes a shooting gallery for my soldiers. Both units end up routing. However, they do come back. I was gonna leave, but since this is the only action, we're gonna stay. There we go. This unit has just decided to rout. And these guys are stuck behind their backs. They're stuck with their backs towards the enemy. So, once they turn around, they run. They've successfully defeated 2 relatively expensive units by outnumbering them, but they forgot one thing. Mortars are deadly. Around this time, they were getting into a really strong position here, about to flank my entire army, so I had to run everyone back. If you can take a look at this confusing thing, you can see that my lines were now set up here, and my levy were now hiding in the trees here. Thankfully, we have begun a move, or using the mortar's ability Barrage, we have become we've gone from prey to the hunters. Take a look at the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No. It's cannonballs going faster than the speed of light, going at Mount Jesus into your battle lines. And oh, there's more where that came from. We barraged the units in this area for a long time. Watch the cannonballs fly. To say the least, they were not happy. Also at this time, they moved their forces up this hill where my soldiers were positioned, who might have suffered from some friendly fire. I'm assuming it's friendly fire. We really laid down the smackdown here. That little ridge became like the front line. of this engagement. This entire battle was fought in this little crevice, as we blasted their soldiers to Kingdom Come, ending the world as they know it. And look at this view. This is awesome. Anyways, going over to that little skirmish. Over here, we have revolutionaries fighting with my brave Yari, or Levy infantry. Pretty much civilians who I asked to join up. Some may not go home, but they will not die in a loss. Or in a loss, as in loss in the battle. Anyways. More shells. We really turned this place into a crater. This is what World War I was like. These soldiers are fighting through everything. Pretty much getting cornered by my troops. We even kind of did a bit of a melee charge, but we took some friendly fire. But the charge was sort of successful, but we pulled back, preferring firing at range over actually getting into melee combat. Although the musketeers can do both. We've pretty much used our barrage ability to the fullest. You can see that's a lot of bodies on the ground. The little skirmish over here is finally ended too, with us staying victorious. And now the main battle begins. Our forces have now engaged with enemy troops in standard line battle fashion. All our soldiers are here and ready. At this point, I was comfortable. I was like, yeah, we're winning this. Because our artillery is still laying down the pain. Also, as you can see, these units are back. However, they're not in action just yet. Our Yari soldiers from last time are re-engaged with enemy forces. We have really just started battering down their lines by now, turning them into rubble and dust. Their cannons are set up though, and firing off rounds. How effective they are depends. Because of their position, they tend to overshoot their shots, meaning that their artillery has been rendered useless. These poor rifle mercenaries are getting cut to smithereens. And these guys are finally getting their revenge. They've just re-engaged. These shogunate infantrymen have re-engaged, wiping out the enemy and preparing for a battle yet to come. The line battle over here is still going strong. We've actually had to move in, seeing my troops were out of range. These guys are kind of fine though. I mean, they're still getting shot down, but they've done their part. We had to run them in though, which can tire out the troops a bit. But it does not matter when you have got the high ground. They still had troops, however, despite the countless barraging. They had plenty of guys left. Thankfully, so did I. Our troops from earlier have now begun pushing up against their artillery. These 8-pounder guns, or 6-pounder light guns, did not do their job too well. Bad news, we got flanked. Their Yari units from before absolutely snuck up on us. The battle up here has remained the same, except now one of my units has started to run away. In this fray, however, we are still fighting strongly, working as a solid unit force, as a solid military force to completely crush our enemies. The blood is flying and soldiers are dying. Meanwhile, these guys are about to run away for the last time as they're getting charged by Yari. The weapons they're using are pretty much, think of a katana, but give it a longer stick. Pause. So, katana spears, essentially. Bad news, I did not see this. So, they got massacred and ran. But, I may have messed up with them, but I have one more unit. And they hooray for their comeback. Before the comeback begins, I'm gonna go back up here as the battle is seeming more desperate, as troops are now kind of regrouping. They did get to push us back a little bit. Anyways, but now back down here, our Shogun infantry, the ones I messed up with, are now back in the action, fighting for their country, fighting for their clan. They're doing really well. These troops are now routed. After only sustaining a few casualties, or like half their forces now dead in the field, they have done their job, successfully fought off the enemy, despite bad planning. Our artillery is back in action, ripping them to shreds. Excuse me. And my troops are now back in action, once again, fighting for their clan. And the battle is over, with thousands of soldiers now retreating, and artillery being used successfully. They are now running for their lives as they get pounded to bits by artillery fire. And now the hunt for the artillery guns begins. The hunt for the artillery guns begin. As you can see on the map, the only things left are the cannons, which I hunted down. That's it for today's video. If you want to see more, subscribe and slap the bell. Because, as you can see, the carnage. Dang it, I have perfect timing. Anyways, the carnage is real. Now, let's take a look at the casualties.
It's my basement.
Alright. So from soldiers deployed, which I'll put all the readings over here, up here. So for deployed in total, that's 2040 plus 2344. 4,384 soldiers were deployed. And total casualties, that's 889 from my side, plus 1597 from theirs. We've got 2,486 losses. From actually killed, it looks like 7 really just ran away. Anyways, that's it for the video. Subscribe and slap the bell. Don't miss any more content. And the soldier on my side with the most kills is not the mortars, surprisingly. It's a unit of Kobusho musketmen, and on the enemy side, the revolutionaries, their main force. This battle was a lot. So, if you want to see more like it, more with my wonderful narration, you know what to do. Subscribe and slap that bell.